Hello, broadband professionals. Welcome to our Getting to Know Your Board of Directors series. Today, we'll be talking to Georgia Robertson, one of our newer directors. And while she is a newer director, she is not new to our industry. Georgia spent her childhood in the California Central Valley and then moved to San Francisco to pursue a career in telecommunications. Hi, Georgia. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Woody?
I'm doing just fine. So, what led you to a career in the telecom broadband industry?
Great question. What led me into the industry, I'll start off with telecom. I was in school and one of the counselors mentioned that there's a program that's being offered by Pacific Bell, which is now AT&T in California. And if you take the course, pass the course, you would be offered a position to work for the Pacific Bell, the telecom company. And so that's what led me into the industry. And then I took on various roles, working in the call center, working on orders and billing, anything that you can think of, various roles such as a critical desk. I also was advising counsel. I worked escalations, political accounts, anything that you can get your hands on. That's pretty much what I did. And later, I perfected my management skills working on. I was a technical writer. I was a trainer. I developed and delivered training, and then finally, that led me into program management and project management, where I worked on various type of projects such as IT, product, mobile device, marketing, tools, system processes, communications, anything that I can get my hands on. That's what I did in the telecom industry. And then as far as broadband, I had I was talking to my son. I wasn't really happy in the position I was in or the company I was working for. And he was working for Comcast at the time. And he told me, Mom, I love my job. You need to look into Comcast. And so I started looking into positions in the project management field. And I saw some positions that I was interested in, and I secured a position in Sacramento, California, working on the NGAN. Later, it changed its name to XNet, which was working on analog to digital nodes, and later moved into changing the architecture to R-PHY nodes. And I worked on the California build on that project. And so that's what led me into telecom or in the broadband industry.
That is quite a rich career experience. You filled a lot of roles. It's funny because on your telecom side, I had no idea what you did. So that's very interesting. I love it. Yeah, and yeah, I remember working with you on one or more of the projects, and I have to say that one of the things I loved while I was still working is working with the PMO group to get some of these projects finished. So it was always great because I usually had my stuff ready. so so it was good to tell my story about, oh yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's get to the next step. But yeah, working with you and your colleagues was just a lot of fun. So
You were a great partner, Woody. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. I'd always think about, okay, what am I going to say next week on the call, right? Am I 100% ready? So it always helped me along. Having that PMO group, having to report to that PMO group was very helpful to keeping me moving, and I think many of the others as well. So tell us a little. Now you're on the SCTE board of directors. I believe you're an associate board member. Uh, so tell me how we pulled you in.
It's when I was working in the XNet program, I worked real closely with the engineers and the network team. And I was always interested on the technical side of the company and learning more about the network. And someone mentioned SCTE to me. Are you familiar with that program? And I said, no. And they said, well, there's lots of trainings and opportunities where you can learn about the cable industry. through that program. And so that's what led me into SCTE. And then I saw an email come out looking for board members on the Golden Gate chapter. So I scheduled a meeting with the president, Don Simmons, and he mentioned the chapter and the different opportunities. And so that's how I moved into this particular role um, on the board of directors on the SCTE program.
Yeah, I just read an email recently from Cable Labs about someone in the I believe she was in project management too, and she said that was the one thing she was missing was the technical aspect of the business, and felt that she could do her job if she do her job better if she could learn that piece. And there was a good story about how she got involved and was learning the technical side. So you found some benefits from learning the technical side?
Oh, definitely. There's a wealth of information on the SCTE site in terms of different trainings that are available, and where you can just take the trainings, when you have the time and it's available to you. Most of them are online. So definitely a great benefit. And being on the board, I'm working on the training track where I can see all the different trainings that are going to be available, and working with people like yourself, Woody, who's putting together a lot of those trainings, and being able to engage and network with a lot of people on the board as well and on the team. So there's a lot of benefits that I found working in the Golden Gate chapter. Yes, for sure.
So when you were working with Pacific Bell slash AT&T, or now known as AT&T, did they have anything like the SCTE?
No, not to my knowledge. I don't remember anything like this at all. I mean, there was training that was available that you can take online, but nothing like SCTE at that time. It may be now, but back then, no, not at all.
Yeah, that's one thing I hear from telecom employees, that they didn't have that networking or that ability to cross train, on different things. And even talking to people from, other parts of the world, they said, they don't have anything like SCTE to kind of pull them together and coordinate. And even though we have competitors, within the group, we all get along, right? So, we just try to train and provide technology that will provide, our customers a great service, and educate our employees. So that is, yeah, I appreciate your experience, sharing your experience with that training. That's really great. So, uh, uh, Georgia, you seem to be someone who really enjoys your personal time. So if you would take a moment just to get into the personal aspect of this interview, would you take a minute to share some of the things you do when you're not working?
It's interesting, Woody, because my interest seems to change like the seasons.
Uh,
One thing that does not change is my love for the beach or the ocean. I
oh,
love spending time just being out there. It doesn't matter if it's in my city, someone else's city, my country, my state. I just love the ocean. That's one of the things that I enjoy. And lately, I've taken up a hobby of acrylic painting. I always admire people that paint. Didn't know that I can do it until I went to YouTube University. And I took it, yes. And I took a course on acrylic painting and didn't know, like I said, I didn't know I can do it. So I started doing acrylic painting, and I started doing my own type of paintings as well. And I also like photography. I like taking photos of the sunrise, the sunset, the beaches, of course, and people when they're not posing for photos, just people just being normal.
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. I like you. I like the photography piece. The painting piece, not so much, because I get paint everywhere except where it's supposed to go. Yeah. So you got me on that one. The photography piece I really love too. So yeah, that's a very interesting pastime. So on for our audience, do you have any recommendations like books, movies, trips, hobbies that they might want to consider that would be a lot of fun?
What I find interesting, Woody, is being a tourist in your own city. When my son was young, we would visit different cities within the state on the weekends just to go somewhere new or different. And I like going to different neighborhoods in your own city. I remember when I was living in San Francisco and I would be right there with the tourists and they would ask, "Where are you from?" And I would say San Francisco.
Oh, how interesting. How very interesting.
Be surprised of the things that you can find in your own city or state, that you're not familiar with. So I just like visiting different locations, and just being a tourist. And like I said, it doesn't have to be in your own city, state, country, just to, venture out and find something new or different.
Yeah, I think everybody should do that. I try to do that some, but it's interesting. San Francisco. Every time I go there, I see something different, or I go through a
Exactly.
neighborhood I've never been before. My wife, it kind of drives my wife crazy because I go, no, I don't want to put on the GPS. I just want to drive, and
Exactly. You just get
yeah,
lost.
and I go, it's only 6 square miles, so you're not going to get lost very
Exactly.
long. And
Exactly.
I just drive through and look at stuff, and it's like, wow, I've never seen that before. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at, but it looks cool. Yeah, no, that's great information. I would say for our audience, you should really try being a tourist in your own city. That's a really interesting thing to do. So, Georgia, I'd just like to thank you for taking some time today to tell us about yourself. And thank you to our audience for watching, being part of our Golden Gate Chapter YouTube channel, watching this series, and be on the lookout for episode 3, which will be coming in September. I plan on doing about one of these a month, so it gives everybody the opportunity to understand uh, our board of directors. And if you watch this, you've seen all the qualifications that Georgia has, and a very rich career experience. So that was very nice. So thank you, Georgia. I
Thank you,
hope
Whitney.
I hope I hope you and everyone watching this has a wonderful day.
Thank you. Be safe. Talk to you later.
Thank you.